is AEs We Need to Talk. So it's about the disconnect between AEs in marketing, AEs in sales development, and AEs as a department. What are the things wrong with it? What do they not see about themselves? Where is it at? What do we think about that? Keenan, why don't I leave with you?
AEs, you guys are the best. You make the world go round. You don't have to change anything.
Something happened to Keenan that I think someone has possessed his body in Los Angeles.
He's a brand new man.
I'm smiling right now, but I'm terrified.
Must be something there.
I think there's a there's like a demon in him. So what do you really think?
Well, look, in terms of marketing and SDRs, we gotta stop acting like divas and think our job is just to take some qualified opportunity and it's supposed to be perfect and they're supposed to just tee us up and everyone's supposed to be a home run. Their job is simply to get the meeting. That's it. Get the meeting with some semblance of connection. There has to be some inkling there's a problem. Okay, not to get a meeting to talk about, the fucking Golden State Warriors or some shit. But there's got to be an inkling there's a problem. That's it. That's all an SDR is supposed to do. So if you can't take it from there, that's on you, not the SDR. So I think AEs have gotten soft, and I think they've moved too far away from being able to uncover a qualified opportunity through a conversation. I mean, seriously, if that meeting's set up, I don't care who they are. Even if the SDR didn't get you a good lead in, you got the guy or girl on the phone. You should be able to quickly find out if they have a problem you can solve like that. And if they don't, you can move on. If they do, then get that to the next stage. But everybody gets too wrapped around the axle and all kinds of bullshit. And usually the problem is because they're pushing. They're like, oh, let me tell you about my product. Oh, they weren't interested in the product. That was stupid. Well, dumbass, you didn't do the right discovery to figure out if there's a problem there in the first place. So A's gonna stop being divas.
I'm gonna give Keenan a Keenan. And that diva-like tendencies is prevalent. I don't know if it's kind of like COVID. It's contagious, but AEs, I love that you said that they've gotten soft. I think that folks are afraid of putting in the work. You gotta work. I mean, it's not gonna be served up on a silver platter. And what I've seen, SDRs tee it up, AEs want it with a bow tie. They don't wanna put in that work to dig in, understand the problem. It's like, nah, I want you to get an 80% there and let me come on in, let me take the order. And I think that's where I see there's some friction between SDRs and AEs. Oh, this wasn't qualified, toss it back. AEs and marketing, oh, the leads suck. What are y'all doing? You gotta put in that work.
Do you think it's just the group as a subset, like that they just naturally become divas, or do you think there's a root cause to it that makes them
I think,
have
like,
that mindset?
in my opinion, so first things first, not all AEs are like, lazy, lack of ownership,
Oh my God,
etc.
there goes the French guy.
100% of them.
So what I want to say is, no, so in my opinion, what I see is, as of COVID, we started seeing people having a different attitude, I feel. And right now, with a potential recession coming, I feel like a lot of people who were not taking ownership are actually being like kind of rewarded by the economy, in a sense where, if they don't hit their quota, what they can say is like, quotas are too high, it's because of the recession, people are firing too many people, they're not buying anymore, etc., etc. But in my opinion, it's like, when there is a recession, people are gonna have problems. And if you're like a good AE, you should understand your buyers' problems the best, and you should be able to help them adapt the solution and continue doing business. Because recession, to be honest, and when you see like the market fluctuates, it's only in people's minds. It's not like when you see like, companies like Twilio, who are doing like their best quarters, growing really, really high and being valued at like 3x their annual recurring revenue on the public market, it doesn't make a single sense. Like really, it's not the actual value. So for me, it's like the perceived value of the recession forces AEs to be weak and kind of like show them like that it's okay to miss quota, that it's becoming the norm. So whenever like people are telling like, yeah, like in companies, you see like only 30% of AEs meeting quota or even less, then it means what? It means like it's fine to miss quota. You know what I mean? And it becomes a norm. So if we put like the bar like so low, of course people are gonna just like live with it and be happy with it.
That's really interesting. And I feel like to your point, it is the norm. The main point of contention that I see coming from account executives to sales development or to marketing is always going to be around, or not always, mostly going to be around the topic of prospecting. Who's responsible for prospecting? Is it marketing supposed to send me leads? Is it sales development supposed to send me leads? Am I supposed to self-source? And if I had to take a step back, I do think that there is a huge diva feel to it. And it comes down to two things for me. The first is, the diva feel is, do they have a need or a want when they come in? Mm-hmm. And the thing I usually stress to AEs is, if someone comes in, let's put aside the piece that they usually are going to be wrong with what they want to solve their problem. But that is literally the definition of an order taker. You say, I want A7, and I say, okay, great, A7 costs this, and then you go on your way. So I don't see the value point there. But around the piece of prospecting, I do want to give some level of empathy to the AEs. Usually when I see people, or I'll put myself in this situation. Last night I was explaining to someone that basically when I am mad, when I look mad, it's because I'm scared. Right? So the ego pops up when account executives, they're scared that they can't hit their number, and so they get frantic and they want to blame someone for it. Of like, oh, well, it's sales development's fault, or it's marketing's fault, or it's someone else's fault, because prospecting is one of the most uncharted territories, in my opinion, that most people will agree. They won't agree often that they can't sell. They usually will give you kickback, to your point in Salt Lake. But when it comes to prospecting, on email, they say they're still okay. But when you say, what about cold call? Every rep I've heard is like, yeah, I need to learn a lot on cold call, because that's when you're the most exposed. So I feel like, to some degree of empathy, it's because they don't know how to prospect well. And they feel like, or at least in my experience, you feel like you should be an expert at this point. And so if I jump on the line and I can't prospect as well as a BDR, then I look like... like an idiot, so to speak. And so I don't want to put myself out there because it would expose me like that. And I know that you mentioned the other day for leaders, like it's like, well, leaders don't want to learn. They don't want to show up and like humble themselves. And I feel like it's because they feel like they should have it all figured out. And if they have to learn publicly in front of their team, it exposes that they don't know something, and to the wrong type of leader or the wrong type of account executive, that's going to be seen as a weakness in their head. I don't know. What do you think?
I agree.
Perfect example, Keenan, was your example yesterday when it came to the Q&A. The sales enablement young lady who kept referring to her leader, and I don't know I'm sure you picked it up. The leader didn't even know.
And she kept interrupting me when I tried to give her some advice. She kept already, and I know. She must have said that like 5 times and interrupted me.
She was scared.
Yeah, and I just was like, all right, I'm back off. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you get scared, and so
that's why I talked about vulnerability. She wasn't willing to be vulnerable and learn something. She had to defend herself and protect herself.
Spot on. And G, you always talk about growth mindset, and that's at all levels. I don't care if you're AE, enterprise AE, sales manager, director, VP,
sales influencer with a brand. Oh, sorry.
If you lose that growth mindset, we really do have a problem. And I think you said AEs, we need to talk. We really need to talk.
Yeah, I think it starts as a discipline, but it's really an empathy of like the two pieces you can do as an AE is, number one, learn how to sell not just to need and want. Like, know that whenever they're in the room for a reason. They think in their head that they can solve a problem with you. They might not be correct in that, but find whatever that problem is. And then number two, on the prospecting, like you can prospect yourself. The best reps that I know, even if they have a high inbound pipe, they're still going outbound, because if I have a high inbound pipe, that means so do you, and so do you, and so do you. And the fact is, I want to smoke all three of you. I want to be on the top, So it's like I want to take all three. I want to take all three of you down at the exact same time, and be on top. I want to be on top of all three.
Title.
So
That was the best title stretch of the entire trip.
Becc knows what she wants.
So
the best
to
ever.
do that, I got to control what I can control. You know, it's not going to be easy, but it's not going to be easy, but I can do it. It's just going to take a little practice. Okay, so that's it. Green Room Candor, episode 11, I believe at this point. So we are in Los Angeles at the very famous Troubadour Green Room. There's a menu back there, and that is it for AEs. We need to talk.